What's up, you guys? And welcome back to my channel. I know it has been a long overdue video and you guys been waiting for this for the longest, which is going to be a fun time today because today is Friday, October 20th. I also wanted to let you guys know if you guys want an updated, like a natural glam makeup tutorial, please let me know, because I straightened my hair today, which I didn't want to, but I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna just straighten my hair. And I did this look. I had to do it twice because this side was my face was having issues. So yeah, so I'm super excited, you guys. Like, I am so happy to see you guys again. And yeah, we are going to be spilling some story time. Now, before I even get into the story time, we don't even have a topic for today, so I'm pretty sure the topic was recommended here on the videos. But before I even get on to this, we will not be naming nobody because we don't need to be getting sued. So we are going to leave these individuals anonymous. When I speak of these story times, I hope that no one takes it like super personal. This is just experience that I went through as a teenager growing up. So I'm basically going to give you like a rundown of the mistakes that I made and how I learned from them and how I became a better person. Just because I bring up about this story time, it has nothing to do with anybody. I am not interested. I do not care about these people, even though there's going to be some folks that are going to say, then why are you bringing it up? I'm bringing it up. Why? Because I want to make a difference in other people's lives, whether they're young, old, or just going through some stuff. Hopefully with my situation and my story time, it could relate to you, or it can help you make the right decisions so you don't make the mistakes that I went through. Not saying that they were the best choices that I made in life, but it had brought me to a much understanding knowledge of what I went through. So that's just what I wanted to let you guys know before we get into it, because, you know, there's going to be some people that are going to be like, but no, we do not care. We don't care about the people. I don't care what they do in their life. God bless you. Whatever you do, that's on you. But here on forward, we're just story time. And then after the story time, we're moving on from it, okay? Here's a story time about a backstabbing friend. In this time, I think I was in high school. I believe I was a freshman, if I'm not mistaken. And at the time, my friends that I was really close to in middle school, they have went on and went to a different high school than me. Before I got into my high school, when I was in my shitty school, my mom had made a decision that I wasn't going to go to the same high school that my older sister graduated from, because she didn't believe that I would be successful in that school because of my friends. She thought that some of the people that I hung around were not very good influence, so she wanted me to stay away from that type of crowd. Me, growing up as a little girl and becoming like in my preteens to my teenage years, I was actually very innocent. I was more like coqueta, but I was very like happy. I'm smiles. I got along with a lot of people. Some people didn't like me, but I didn't care. I was just all around an outgoing person. I think anybody that got to know me and knew who I was, seen that I had such a genuine, you know, heart, soul. But my mom at the time, I don't know what my mom was going through during that time when she was younger, but she had a lot of issues and she was not very trustworthy with me. And I can understand there were certain situations that I put her through, but in the beginning stages of my middle school year, I didn't really give her a hard time, so I don't think she would have that issue of her not wanting to trust me. But because of the people that I hung around and she started seeing, she didn't like that crowd. But my mom was that type of parent that was very strict. And in middle school, there were so many girls that were so advanced in knowing a lot of things, like when it came to like sex. I didn't want to know about it. I wasn't interested. I really wanted to stay like a childlike, but just hang around my friends. That's just what I love to do. I just wanted to be around fun people, having fun, doing fun things, and not thinking of wanting to do things with other people. But I know in my school that happened a lot because they were introduced to that at a young age, and whatever situation that happened in their childhood, that probably led up to why these girls were so fast new things. I knew a little bit, my parents told me here and there, but it wasn't something like I already knew. But I wasn't stupid either. Like, I know when people would talk about it, and I would kind of like put two in together, and I would be like, yeah, I know what they talk about. During that time, my mom was like, no, you're not gonna go to the same high school with your friends. It sucked because even though at the time I would hear, you know, much older folks or family members, they will tell me all the time, they're like, the friends that you have in middle school, they're not going to be your friends in high school. And I used to get upset when they would say that, because I was a firm believer that my friends that were my friends were going to always be my friends, and I was never going to change for anybody. They were always going to be my friends, and whoever comes, they can come along. Like, I'm like a social butterfly, but I don't care. My friends are my friends, and we gonna stick tight together. So once my mom moved me to a different high school, everybody started shifting, started changing. Everybody started going their own different ways. But I had like a couple friends that I was still close to, even though we went to separate high schools. But this girl in particular, we're gonna name her Amy. Amy was younger. She was probably like 2 years younger than me. I didn't know nothing about this girl. I don't even remember how I met her. All I know is that she was friends with one of my cousins, and Amy had a sister that was like around the same age as my cousin. And I used to see this girl a lot, and for some reason I didn't know why I thought in my brain was to be friends with her, because at the time, my parents were, like I said, very strict. So they didn't let me go out. They didn't let me party. They didn't let me do none of that. I was at home. And if my parents were even asked to go out, if we were able to go out, they would completely say no. So during that time, I seen that girl, Amy, and my cousin had her sister come over. And this was a time where I was like at my cousin's house, when my parents went over just to go and chill, and, you know, cousins, whatever, they all play and whatnot. So I remember they were talking and this and that, and I remember seeing her sister a lot, because during that time, everybody was transitioning from MySpace to Facebook. So I would see her a lot on Facebook, and I would see that she would always like post, or she would take pictures of herself. And she, at the age she was, I'm not even gonna lie, like, she had like boobs. She didn't have butt, but she had like a little body. Me, I did not have no body. I mean, I had my little booty, but I did not, like, I was a late bloomer. So this girl, she was just too advanced for her age, and she would go out and party. And I used to think in my head, oh, she must be this cool. Like, maybe I should hang out with her and take pictures with her, so that maybe that will kind of like make my self-esteem get a little better, or it'll make other people's be like, oh yeah, like with Christina, because she's, you know, she's hanging out with so and so. I don't know why I thought in my head that that was okay, but I ended up messaging this girl. We became friends, her, me, and we started talking more. And once we started to talk more, she one time invited me to her house, and my mom, at first I had to ask my mom, because my mom, like I told y'all, she's very strict. So I had to ask her, hey mom, can I go over so-and-so's house, Amy's house? And at first my mom was like kind of contemplating and saying that she'll let me go. So I go, and I think my sister went with me that day. I'm not sure. I think so. We hung out. We had a good time. I remember that Amy, she was 2 years younger than me, 2 or 3 years younger than me. So she was advanced. She knew about sex. Like, she knew a lot more stuff than I did, and I was even older than her. So she would just talk about guys and the guys she would talk to. And knowing me, I didn't really care who she talked to, because that was none of my business. I would just be her friend because we were cool. We would take pictures. Like, I wanted to feel that, like, I was that girl. You know? So we would talk, hang out at her mom's house. And then I remembered that she had one time mentioned about one of my friends, my old friends from middle school, that I knew, and we became very, very close friends. We're gonna call her Flower. So Flower and I, we were very, very close and very cool. Like, she's been my middle school friend since 6th grade, and she's always been such a beautiful person. Amy, so happened, did not know anything about Flower, and one time she made a comment saying that Flower was fat and she was ugly. And I didn't like the comment that she had made, so I kind of like told her, like, don't say that, because that's my friend and that's not nice to say. After I told her that it wasn't nice for her to say that, she kind of didn't like the response that I gave her, so she didn't say much. She just kept it to herself, and that was anyways, we moved on from that. And in this particular time, the friends that I had in middle school, I also was very close to. There were 3 people that I knew. 2 of the girls, they were sisters, and I was really close to one of them. The other, I really wasn't friends with. I just felt bad for her because nobody really liked her. Everybody said she was much of a big mouth. She gossiped too much, and she always found drama into everything. Like, she always tried to get people into problems. Her sister was more outgoing, cool, just like me, and she was just such a beautiful person inside and out. And we're going to name them Molly and Madison. So Molly was like my best friend of all, and Madison, she was just a sister that nobody didn't get along. Molly was very outgoing, and Madison was very jealous of Molly a lot because her parents trust her more than Madison, and Madison was the oldest out of Molly. So Molly was able to get things done, and she actually listened to her parents. Like, her parents were more lenient with her than they were with Madison. So Madison and Molly I used to hang out with because they went to my middle school. So one day I went to go and hang out with Madison and Molly, and we had already like knew each other, but I'm gonna make this story very short because that'll have to be for another time, another story time with Madison, Molly, and Amy, because it gets connected, but everything is gonna be just messed up. I don't want to confuse you. So Amy knew about Madison and Molly, and also I remember telling Amy about this particular guy that we're gonna name him Roach. And Roach, I used to date him, and at the time we were in and out. We weren't really seeing eye to eye. We would break up and stuff because it was kind of like a long distance relationship, and I really didn't like Roach. I was hurt a lot of times with Roach, and I just wanted to be free from that. So I tried to like avoid getting into relationships. I really was just trying to be like single and just living my best life. So Amy knew about Roach, and because I would tell her, she was like my friend at the time. I confided in her and I told her a lot of things. And Madison and Molly were related to Roach, so they were kind of like family cousins, so they knew each other. One day my parents decided that they were gonna plan a carnival trip, like a boat trip for us to go to. And this was something that my parents always do every 2-3 years when they want to take me and my sisters on vacation. So I was super excited about that. But me and Amy were hanging out so much, she really wanted me to like literally be around her 24/7. And at the time, I thought it was all cool and stuff, and seeing each other too much was getting annoying to me. And I'm a person where I like to see people, but I do like to respect people's like space. And if they're not like wanting to see you like too many times, it's okay to take a break from them. Like, you don't have to stop being friends with that person. You can still be friends with that person, but sometimes people get overwhelmed. So in this case, it was actually me. And right then and there, I kind of was like telling Amy like, hey, you know, I'm gonna go on a carnival trip with my parents, so it might take like a few days. Maybe when we get back we could hang out. So she was not happy about what I told her, so I was like, whatever. So I went on the carnival trip with my parents, and I had a very good time. And once I came back, I was like, let me just hit up my girl, see what she's been up to lately. And during this time, like I told you, Roach was a person that I really didn't like. But Roach was the type of person, I would just literally tell you that he was that type of guy, the fuck nigga. He just was that type of cheating type of person, and he didn't care who he did it with. He would do it, and he'll continue doing it because it made him feel superior, I guess. So with Amy, there was some red flags that I would just kind of like go over my head, and I would think, you know, just because she does that, I didn't judge her, because I didn't like to judge people just because of their past or what they've done. But there were a few times Amy and my sister, they never got along, because one time we went to a movie theaters and I invited Amy, and at the time my sister was dating some guy, and Amy so happened to know that guy, and she was just being a little bit too friendly with him while we were at the movies. And then we went to go take like a picture, like a friend picture, and Amy decided to kiss the guy that at the time my sister was previously dating, kissed on the cheek, and my sister was not okay with that. Like, and when I seen that, I kind of knew that that was like a little bit low, because if I have a friend, and even though I might have known the guy, I'm not just gonna go up and just kiss the guy just because I knew him and I want to make my friend jealous. Like, that's wrong, and I'm not that type of person. I'm not that type of girl. I'm not gonna do that to somebody. So when she did that, that was like the first red flag, but I kind of like avoided it and I let it go. And so coming up to it from the carnival trip, I went to contact her to see if we could like hang out. And Amy, when she answered, she kind of wasn't like herself. She normally always answer happy, but in this particular time she really wasn't like too happy. She really didn't want to talk as much, and I actually like try to communicate and talk to her and tell her like, hey, what's up, like why you feeling this way, like why are you like that? And she just let me know that it's because I went on that trip and I went for a whole week, so it kind of gave her like rub her off, because she's so used to being so attached to her friends that when they go for a week without no speaking, nothing like that, like she gets like jealous or something. I don't know. So by her telling me that, I just knew that something funny about her was gonna start. I just knew it, but I wasn't prepared. Knew like her voice, the body language that she was giving off wasn't herself, as she used to always be around me when we would hang out. It would be totally different, and this particular time she really was like acting a little bit funny. So I was like, whatever, I'm not gonna make it a big deal, just keep it moving and move on with our lives. So of course, me and Amy, we slowly started to not communicate as much, and out of nowhere, I don't know what happened, but we just stopped talking. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I was still cool with Madison and Molly, but I started to get more closer with Madison. Even me and Molly were like this close, but me and Madison, I started to grow closer, to get to know her, to understand like why you like this, like why people don't like you. And she would always tell me that. But I remember my other friends telling me like, be careful with Madison, because she's like that. She's that type of person. She likes that drama. And I always used to tell my other friends like, nah, y'all just being mean, like just let it be, like maybe she's not like that, y'all just haven't got to know her. Me and Madison started talking, and we were starting to become really cool and close. And then one day, because this is the time where MySpace was still around, I was just looking on my computer on my page and whatnot, and I would just see all my friends post and things that they have done, or next day, whatever. And I was scrolling, and then I so happened to see Amy's profile. So I was like, you know, let me just see what she's been up to, because, you know, we don't talk anymore, so I just want to see like what she's been up to. So yeah, I was sitting down on the couch, and it was just me and my sister. So I was sitting down, and then I started to scroll, and then out of nowhere, I see this picture. And this picture in particular is a picture of my ex and Amy. And so as I'm looking at the picture, I'm like, this picture looks funny. But there's not just one picture, there's multiple pictures. So there was one picture where they're like sitting next to each other, but they're like hugged up. So I was kind of like, damn, like what the fuck is that? Like what's going on? And then I go to the second picture, and I see that Amy and Roach are kissing. Like, so I see that, and I'm just instantly like, wow, like she would really go that low. So this whole time that maybe she stopped talking to me, she just wanted to get revenge back on me because I went on a cruise ship. As soon as I seen this, I did not like it at all. I just knew that Roach was that type of person, and that's why his name is Roach, because he's the Roach that he is and where he came from. I showed it to my sister. My sister was like, I've been told you about this girl. This girl was never your friend. She's always been like that low-key girl that's just been a jealous person, knows that you're very beautiful, very pretty. You carry yourself well. and you're well respected. You don't just give your shit up to nobody. And this girl, Amy, she was that type. I didn't even mention it to you guys, but I think she lost her virginity at such a young age. Me, I didn't. So I was very like proud of myself for that. And I guess for some females, if you lose your V card at such a young age, and some other females don't lose it, but they have, you know, respect for themselves, there are going to be some females that are going to be jealous of them. And there's nothing wrong with that. So girl, if you're a virgin and you're 18, 19, whatever, how old you are, even 30, shit, be proud of yourself. You did the honor to honor God and to keep your flower beautiful for your husband, and that's how it should always be. And my sister told me, I've been told you about this girl. So she knew with Amy, she really didn't like my sister was at a point where she really wanted to like fight Amy, but she was really trying to be nice, because my sister knows her strength, and she knows that Amy was 3 years younger than my sister, so my sister wasn't going to stoop down to her level at all. So once we seen these pictures, I was like, you know what, that hurt. It made me feel hurt inside, because this is not the first time that I ever been cheated on. This was kind of like the 4th, 5th time, but with Roach. And I hated to feel this way, because at the time I didn't grow a relationship. I didn't have a relationship with God, but it hurt me, because it's like, damn, like I'm such a good person. Why would this person do that to me? Like, why would you go knowing that I knew Roach and we had a thing, and you're gonna go and mess with my ex? So that's how you're gonna play things with? That's fine. So instead of me making it into a big issue or wanting to fight her for no fucking reason, I was just like, whatever, she can have him. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, this man, not on some cocky shit, but he always seems to come and find me. Always. So I'm gonna just leave it as it is. Or that time in my life, I was going through it bad. I had certain situations that I would just keep to myself, the best of a relationship. So I'm not even gonna like sit here and lie to you guys, because that's just how it was. And to tell my mom things, I wanted my mom to be a best friend to me in that moment when I was going through it, because I was such a broken person, and a good person to get, you know, treated like that, that's sad. Like, it's sad, and you want to make that person feel better. So I just really wanted my mom to be there, but it like damaged me so bad, just seeing that, and then seeing the pictures, and then like replaying it back and forth in my memory mentally. It became like a crazy thing for me. I don't know, but it just became something that I didn't like. And after that day, I was just like, you know what, whatever, I don't care. I'm just gonna ignore these people, and I'm just gonna live my life and do my own thing. After that, I just went on just going to school, not focusing on them. And then maybe a couple days later, I was like, you know what, let me just call up on my friend Flower, see how she's doing. So one day I was like, okay, let me just call Flower, maybe it'll help me feel better. So I called Flower, and I noticed that Flower was acting a little funny with me, and she so happened to be very open, and she just blatantly just asked me, she was like, hey, I gotta ask you something. And I was like, okay. And she was basically like asking me, she was like, did you let Amy talk about me or talk about my weight or said anything bad about me? And I literally told her, no, I didn't. I didn't even let her say those things to you, because I said to her that you were my friend, and I don't appreciate her for speaking that way. And somehow Amy, in the midst of that, she was actually upset. So she didn't know if I was like telling the truth or lying, but Flower knows that I was always a good friend, and if I have your back, I'm gonna have your back 100%. I'm not gonna let somebody talk to you like that. I just wasn't that type of person. And even though like we all went to separate high school, Madison, Molly, and Flower went to different high school than me, it just seemed like they were just hearing things from people that were giving them misinformation and telling them lies about me. So she said, well, I heard that you were speaking badly about me, so that's why I wanted to ask you. And because of that conversation that we had, Flower didn't no longer wanted to be my friend no more, because she heard someone saying that I called her fat, and I said she was ugly, and I didn't stick up for her. And for that, she said she didn't want me to call her or call her house anymore. And she hung up, and I kind of was very sad, because I'm like, what's going on? Like, why is my friends like turning against me? Like, I don't understand. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. So after that, I was like, I'm gonna have to like find out like what's going on. So the only person that at the time I would talk to the most, because me and Molly, we started to distance because Molly had her own friends in high school. So with her sister Madison, I was just growing closer with her, not knowing that Madison was also someone that would just backstab you and start trouble. So when I called Madison, I was just like feeling down, telling her like what happened. And she basically was like, look, hey, I just wanted to tell you that Amy is dating Roach now, so we probably won't be able to talk as much, but I just wanted to let you know that Molly is upset and she doesn't want to talk to you. And I started to tell her, well, why? What did I do to her? Madison was saying that she overheard that I was racist. And just to give you guys a background, I am Puerto Rican. I was born in New York, and I am raised by two parents that are from Puerto Rico. My dad is from Santurce, Puerto Rico, and my mom is from Coupé. So I'm New Yorican. But, and my friends, they're Mexican. So they're Mexican American. So when I heard that, I was like, that's not true, because I'm not a racist person. I would never say nothing racist. I don't know why that was even a topic to even begin with, because I'm not that person. And if I was such a racist person, then I wouldn't be dating Mexican guys. You know all the guys I dated, so why would you say that I'm racist? So when that happened, she was just kind of like, well, my sister doesn't want to talk to you no more. And it started to become like very serious, to the point where her sister had a problem with me. And knowing me, I'm the type of person where, yeah, I'll let somebody talk to me, but I also won't let somebody talk down to me. Because in that time, I was like, it's either we cool or we gonna fight. That was just me, like straight up. Like, if you got a problem with me, then we could settle it. Because I'm not gonna just sit here and let you run your mouth and talk about me like that. Like, I'm just not that person. So her and I, we had that discussion, and we were going to fight, but it didn't happen because my sister didn't want me to get involved with that, because she just knew who the rat was and who was the person that was making all these lies. So my sister had to sit me down, and she basically had to tell me like, hey, these are not your friends, just don't talk to them no more. The person that's involved and is the one that's the main person that's getting you into trouble is Madison, but the main person is Amy, because Amy's dating Roach. And because Roach can't have you, and he know he can't take your V card, he's trying to find every motive to make people hate you, so that you don't have nobody to go to. So when that hit me, and my sister told me that, it hurt a lot, because I was like, damn, I'm just losing my friends left and right. I'm not going to the same school. I'm so depressed, because all I wanted was to be with my friends. I didn't want to have drama. I didn't want people to hate me. But because of that, I had to stop communicating with Flower, Madison, Molly. I didn't talk to Amy at all, and I just blocked Roach's number, and I didn't want nothing to do with him at all. So after that, I think I went my whole year with no friends at the time, and I slowly started to make more friends as I got into high school. I lost basically all my middle school friends that I were friends with that went to my high school, and we just stopped talking. After that day, I didn't communicate with Amy no more, and she would always try to look for me, but I would never want to be associated with her. I came to a point that I was just like, it's gonna be where if I see her, we gonna fight on sight, because I don't like her. I don't like that help. So with that being said, that is my story time of the time that I had a backstabbing friend that wanted to get with my ex, and she did, and she had him, and I didn't care. So for those young girls out there that are going into middle school or going to high school, I just want to let you know this. I'm going to try to make it very short as possible so you guys can never lower your standards, but most importantly, never lose your dignity and your respect as a girl. If a guy forces you, or if a guy tells you like, oh, everybody's having sex and they're talking about it and you're not interested, remove yourself, because those people that are there, they're just peer pressures, or they're just temporarily people that just want to ruin your life. You want to be with positive people that want to uplift you and not lead you to make that sin. So find girls or find people that love you. And when they tell you the truth, the people that actually do care for you, don't get upset. Because I used to do that a lot with my sister. My sister would tell me things about people and how other guys were with me. And she would just make it, like, she would be straight up with me. She'll just tell me, like, hey, that's not cool. Like, I'm telling you, they don't care about you. And I would always get mad at her. But in the end, she was always right. Because she was just looking out for me. And those are the type of people that you need around you, that you want to surround yourself with. But never lose your respect. Just because everybody else is doing it, that doesn't mean you have to do it. You stay true to yourself. But also, remember the red flags. Because there's going to be some females that they're going to pretend they're your friend. But you also have to see the first time that they show you who they really are. And the first time that they're like, oh, that they're this person. Or they do something shady that, whether it's your sister, your cousin, whoever. It doesn't even have to be family. It could be a friend or somebody. And they do it to them just because they wanted to feel cool. Do not be their friend. Because they're just hanging on to you because they can have anything that you have, but they're just jealous of you. You don't want people like that. People like that are very insecure, and they project their energy and their insecurities onto you because you have a brighter light and because you're just a beautiful person inside and out. So just look out for those red flags, because if you avoid them like I did in that time, you're going to continue having trouble and drama with these same people. So just avoid and cut ties with them girls. Like, if that girl or whoever, guy, girl, whoever does it to you and they're like that, do not become their friend no more. Like, cut ties with them and move on. Like, yes, it's going to hurt in the beginning, but trust me, it'll get better. Like, so much peaceful. And letting the enemy come in and try to, like, steal that joy from you. Like, you don't want that. So I'm just going to leave it off here. I hope you guys got to enjoy my story time. If you guys want to hear more story times, makeup tutorials, and Bible stories, please let me know. I do have a Bible scripture before I leave, because I don't want to leave out a very good gospel for you guys. And I want my duty. And God wants me to share that with you guys. So give me a second. And we'll be right back. I'm going to leave off with Matthew 7:7, which says, ask and it shall be given to you. Ask and it shall be given you. And seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be open unto you. I want to leave it off there because this is very important. I actually read this morning. And I also read a different scripture. But I just wanted to put this word out there for those of you that really are trying to find Jesus and want to build your relationship with him. And if you have questions, answers, whatever the case may be, you can come to him and pray to him about it. So when God says ask, and I do this, and it's up to God to decide whether that's a good thing or is a bad thing. And if you knock, and it shall be given. So if you ask, seek and it shall find. Knock, if you knock, and it shall be open to you. So any job, any offer, opportunity that comes, that God has planned and purpose for you, it will be yours. Nobody's going to take it away from his hand, because it belongs to you. It's yours, and it's safe, secure, and stamped by the Lord Jesus Christ. So I hope you guys got to enjoy my story time. We will have more story times. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. And oh, sorry about I'm happy that they're back. Yeah. And don't forget to follow me, okay, you guys? Don't be over here nosy looking at my video. Just subscribe, like, comment, okay? See you guys next time. Muchos besitos. Peace.